Part one of our unit on film style will focus on mise en scène. Mise en scène. Mise en scène is a French term which means putting in the scene. Putting in the scene. Mise en scène is a concept that was transferred to film studies from the theater, from live stage plays, and it just involves the analysis of everything that is put before the camera to be filmed. The analysis of everything that we see in a shot, even when we're looking at that shot in a freeze frame or in a still image form. Mise en scène is the arrangement of elements in the frame, the film frame. The idea of the film frame is a very important one. As you are aware of, at least implicitly, a film frame has edges, just like a frame of a painting or a frame of a drawing. There are four edges that form the frame of a film image. And so mise en scène is, to a great extent, the analysis of how those elements are arranged within the film frame and what is inside the film frame and what is left out of the film frame in whatever the particular set of elements are that are arranged before the film camera. Mise en scène is also concerned with the composition of those elements in the frame. How are the elements that we can see within the frame composed? You know, what are the graphic elements? What are the relationships amongst the different graphic elements, such as lines and shapes and different sorts of things in that respect? Colors, volumes of space, and so forth. So the composition of the frame, when we analyze mise en scène, part of what we are doing, or part of what we can do, is to analyze the composition of elements within the film frame. I like to make the distinction when talking about mise en scène and cinematography that mise en scène treats the question, what is being filmed, whereas cinematography, which will be part two of our unit on film style, deals with the question, how is it filmed? So mise en scène then deals with all of the elements, all of the objects, all of the things that we can see in a film frame and how they are arranged in relationship to one another. Sikoff, the author of our textbook, uses this phraseology to describe mise en scène, the totality of expressive content within the image. So everything that we can see in a film image that has expressive value. So certainly that includes the actors, because the actors are expressing themselves and have expression. Can also include props or other objects that we can see within the frame, which have some sort of expressive value. You know, props are used by actors and usually have some significance in terms of the narrative that is being told. The backdrops or the sets, the settings, the spaces within which actors in the narrative are enacting whatever it is they're doing has expressive value as well. Interior locations, exterior locations, the time period or the historical period that the film is taking place in allows those spaces to have expressive value as well. So the totality of expressive content within the image. Sikoff also has a definition or a description of mise-en-scène that is similar to this, or includes these basic elements. All of the elements placed in front of the camera to be photographed. So again, that question of what is being filmed. Settings, which includes the general time and place in which the film is set, which is exemplified through the particular spaces and individual sets or locations that are being filmed in the film. Props, objects that are manipulated by actors in the course of the narrative action of the movie. Lighting. Lights are sometimes objects that we can see within the frame. You know, if there is a table lamp on a table or other forms of lights that we can actually see as part of the set or part of the space within the action of a scene or a shot, lighting is just as often things that are placed outside of the frame, instruments, technical objects or technical instruments involved in filmmaking that are placed outside of the frame, but the light that they emit and the way that that light looks is something that we see within the frame. Costumes and makeup, which are aspects of the way that the characters in the film look. And then something that Sikoff calls figure behavior, which means what the actors are doing within the film frame. You know, what is the position of the actors in relationship to one another? How are the actors moving? And what is the nature of that movement if they are moving within the film frame? Facial expressions and gestures that the actors and characters are making. So any kind of behavior, movement, or other things that the figures or the people, the actors, which are characters within the narrative, are doing. So figure behavior. I would like you to learn and understand mise-en-scène as consisting of these four main aspects. So to sort of be able to make it a little easier to grasp and a little easier to learn, I want you to think of mise-en-scène as consisting of these four aspects. The first of these is the costumes and makeup. You know, what do the characters look like? Depending on the kind of film that it is, those characteristics of the look of the characters might be very elaborate, you know, in a costume drama or in, you know, various sorts of maybe science fiction or fantasy films. There could be a lot of costumes and makeup, you know, very elaborate, elaborately designed and executed elements of costumes and makeup, some of which these days can be added or altered in post-production using digital means. You know, there's a lot of movies that are released these days where the look of the characters is somehow adjusted or altered using digital technology, CGI technology in post-production. But still probably most or much of the time, you know, these are costumes and that are worn by characters and makeup that is applied to the characters' faces or bodies. So all of these elements involving the appearance of the characters. The sets and setting of the movie. Now, every movie has a particular time and place in which it takes place. There may be a variety of different places in which a film takes place, but usually there is a fairly unified time frame. You know, a film takes place in, you know, the 1800s or a particular period of the 1800s or earlier, you know, historical periods or present day periods. This is an aspect, can be an aspect of costumes and makeup as well. If a film is taking place in the present or the present day of when the movie was made, then the costumes and makeup are going to represent that particular time period. So, setting is the time and place in which the movie occurs. Sets are more specific locales or locations in which the action takes place. So, a movie may have a set that is a particular place, a particular location, maybe a person's house, maybe a particular work setting if the movie is concerned with that sort of activity. So, whatever the variety of sets and settings are that in which the film takes place. The figure behavior, again, the arrangement of the actors or the figures in the frame and their movement. What do the actors do in terms of moving around? And sometimes this movement may involve very subtle things. If we're talking about a close-up of a character, the movement or the figure behavior in that case may involve simply a slight turn of the head or blinking eyes and their mouth moving as they talk. So it doesn't have to be broad movements, but any kind of movement that the characters or the actors playing them do within the film frame. And also the arrangement of those characters and those actors in relationship to one another. If there are three characters within the frame, how are they positioned in relation to one another? As far as, their where are they standing or sitting, and how do they relate to one another as characters, just in the fact of how they're arranged in that particular shot or that particular scene. And then finally, the fourth aspect is the lighting. How much lighting? Is it brightly lit? Is it dimly lit? We're going to learn some more terminology when we talk about cinematography in terms of a variety of things related to lighting, because lighting is something that sort of straddles both mise-en-scène and cinematography as elements of film style. But there are many things, a number of things that we can talk about in relationship to lighting in terms of mise-en-scène. The directionality of the light, where is the light coming from? Is it shining from off the left edge of the frame into the frame? Is it coming from a couple of different directions? The intensity, is there a great deal of light that is very strong, or is there just a little bit of light that is not strong and causing a lower level of illumination for the objects or the characters in the frame? And the position of the lights, especially if there are lighting objects or lighting instruments that are visible within the frame. Where are those light sources located in terms of the arrangement of elements or the composition of the frame? So these four aspects of mise-en-scène are the ones that I want you to get a handle on and get a grasp of in terms of understanding mise-en-scène. The costumes and makeup, the sets and setting, the figure behavior, and lighting. The other broad concept that is most central to talking about mise-en-scène is what Sikoff calls subject-camera distance. Subject-camera distance. This is the relationship of the camera to whatever the action is that's being filmed, and how close to the camera or how far from the camera that subject that is being filmed is. And these are probably terms, the labels for the individual varieties of subject-camera distance are probably terms that you have heard in one form or another before. Starting with the close-up. A close-up is a shot that is very close to the subject that it's shooting, usually involving a very large view of a person's face or a person's head. There, of course, can be close-ups of other objects other than the human head. If there's an object that a character is handling, perhaps, we'll get a close-up of that in a movie to get a close view of it to see what it looks like. But certainly, most often, when we have close-ups in a movie, they are of an individual character's face. Then there's medium shots. Medium shots usually, when featuring characters, usually show a character from the waist up, or maybe sometimes from the chest up. From somewhere in that chest to waist area up, including basically the upper half of their body, and showing that as well as much more of the background of what is behind them than a close-up shows. Close-ups, of course, do not show much of the set or the background that the character is standing in front of, simply because the view is too close and is dominated by the character's head or an object that is the feature of the close-up. Medium shots show more of the background, and you get a better sense in a medium shot of where the character is and what are the elements that are in the character's surrounding area or the space that they are located in. A long shot is one in which even more of that set or setting that the character is in is shown. Long shots typically will show the entire person's body of one person or multiple people that may be in a shot, as well as more or less the entirety of the room or other space that the characters are located in that particular shot. Sometimes long shots are exterior ones where we don't really see characters. They are what are called establishing shots that show an exterior of whatever the location is. You'll often get a shot like that at the beginning of a scene that sort of gives us a sense of where it is taking place before we get closer shots, medium shots, and close-ups of the location and the characters within the location. Now, the close-up, medium shot, and long shot are sort of the basic points upon what we can consider as a continuum of subject-camera distance. It's important to think of subject-camera distance as a continuum. Every film will sort of establish for itself what is the standard subject-camera distance that we can consider as a close-up, or a medium shot, or a long shot. There are gradations within the continuum of close-up, medium shot, and long shot that sort of fall between and at the margins of these three main subject camera distances, one of which is the extreme version of them. There is what is called an extreme long shot. An extreme long shot is a shot that shows even more of the surrounding area than what a typical long shot would show. If a long shot, an exterior long shot, say, shows the entirety of a whole building, an extreme long shot might show the entire area of the city in which that building takes place. An extreme close-up is one that shows maybe just a portion of a person's face. If a close-up is showing, typically shows a person's head and face in close-up, an extreme close-up might show just the eye of a person or just the mouth of a person. Or if the close-up shows an object, an extreme close-up of that object might show just a small part of that object. Other gradations on the continuum of subject camera distance might include some that would sort of fall between the three major points on the continuum. So between what would be considered a close-up and what would be considered a medium shot, you might have a medium close-up, which might be something that would show a person's head and shoulders, show them from the shoulders up, which would not exactly be a close-up and would not exactly be a medium shot, but would sort of fall in between the range of the close-up and the medium shot. Very similar idea with the medium long shot. A subject camera distance that shows a little bit more than what a medium shot would show, but a little less than what a long shot would show. Then there are a couple different types of shots that relate to subject camera distance and have labels that are important to know and that you'll find constantly in analyzing films. A couple of them are called the two-shot and the three-shot. Now, a two-shot, both a two-shot and a three-shot, are sort of in the medium shot range of the subject camera distance continuum. And both of them refer to the number of people that are visible in the shot, the number of characters or actors that are visible in the shot. A two-shot would be a medium shot or perhaps a medium long shot that shows two characters, oftentimes or usually from the waist up approximately, similar to what a standard medium shot would show. A three-shot would show three different characters. So two shots and three shots are basically medium shots that have either two or three characters visible in them. And those characters, enacting narrative action within that shot. A master shot is sort of a type of long shot. A master shot being one that oftentimes will appear at the beginning of a scene and may be cut back to at different points within the scene to sort of show us the whole area or the whole space within which a scene is taking place. It's called a master shot because it shows everything that is in that particular space within which a scene is taking place. It shows all of the characters and usually all of the bodies of the characters that appear in that scene, and it shows all of the or most of the space within which that particular scene takes place. So two-shot, three-shot, master shots are sort of variations or labels for particular uses of the different shots on the subject camera distance continuum. So those four elements or four aspects of mise-en-scène, costumes and makeup, sets and setting, figure behavior and lighting, as well as this whole concept of subject camera distance as a continuum characterized in its most basic form by the close-up, medium shot, and long shot are the basic elements or the basic aspects of mise-en-scène that you should learn and that you should know.